This is More Knowledge, More Wealth with your host, Gabriel Shahin. Gabriel is a certified financial planner and a registered investment advisor at Falcon Wealth Planning. This show does not intend to provide personalized investment advice through this broadcast and does not represent that the services or securities discussed are suitable for any investor. Investors are advised not to rely on any information contained in the broadcast in the process of making a full informed investment decision. Now here's your host, Gabriel Shahin.
Good day, this is Gabriel Shahin, certified financial planner and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth, here on every weekend talking about all important topics of personal finance. My job is to go over the knowledge you need to increase your wealth. Now, to the listener, you can always reach out to myself or any one of my colleagues here at Falcon Wealth Planning. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, where you can visit our knowledge center and get this episode and one of our previous episodes on Spotify or podcasts or wherever. And that knowledge center redirects you to YouTube, where we have well over 1 million views now, folks, where we have presented items that you wanted me to discuss. You sent the inquiry to radio@falconwp.com. That's radio@falconwp.com. Now, I'm the president of Falcon Wealth Planning. We are a fee-only, non-commissioned, true fiduciary, folks. And we talk about all important topics of personal finance. That's where you are today, how retirement looks like, talking about Social Security, pension analysis, businesses, real estate, taxes, investments, estate planning, insurance, folks, you name it, anything that involves a dollar sign, we can help you with. That's why we're offering 1 to 2 meetings, 1 to 2 hours of our time, folks, at no cost. Give us a call. We would love to help. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird, where we can help give you 1 to 2 hours, 1 to 2 meetings of our time at no cost to help relate this show to your specific situation. And it doesn't matter where you're located, as we have offices all across the country. We would love to help. So, it's always a mouthful starting off every single week, but let's do this. I had a handful of situations that come up all in the past week, and it just drove me bananas. I don't understand some people, how they think. Okay, and if you're like one of these people or know somebody like one of these people, maybe you can share this episode with them. Now, I want to start off with people who are planners, right? These are professionals. These are people that are highly respected, highly regarded. Most of the time they enter a room, they're right. Heck, they enter a room, especially at work, in the professional setting, people are listening to them. They are waiting on them. They're the leaders, the decision makers. They are always right. These are extremely intelligent, successful, well-spoken, well-educated, fantastic professional leaders in our society today. And I'm here to tell you, as great and as smart as you are and hardworking, sometimes you can be a complete moron. I'm sorry. I'm hearing about some of these plans these people have. They're so polished and well-spoken and well-presented and so logically driven in their communication method. But the thing they're proposing is stupid. Just because you sound smart doesn't mean what you're saying is smart. From a financial planning point of view, if I could punch them in the face, I would. Of course, I can't for many reasons, but let me explain to you some of the things that these people are saying. You have people in their 30s, late 30s, early 40s, get this, are buying their retirement home. Now, before you're like, Gabriel, why is that a stupid idea? People have second homes all the time. Check this out. This is here in Southern California. They're from the Midwest. Ohio, they're buying their home, or not their home, a home, and the block they wanted, whatever it is. Didn't get into that much detail. They are buying a house, $425,000. And this could be in Florida, right? This could be in Texas, wherever you see retirement is. But in this specific example, they're buying the house. Get this. They're spending the money to remodel it. Now, they're not going to retire in 5 years. 10 years, quite frankly, even 20 years. And they're buying the retirement house now. Why? Because in 30 years, when it's paid off, they can go somewhere with no mortgage, retire somewhere with no mortgage. Let's just take a step back. Folks, they're not going to rent the property. They're not going to rent it. I don't understand like the logic behind all of this. So they're not going to rent it. They're spending the money to remodel today in 2024. By the time they retire, let's just say 30 years later, let's be nice. Let's say 26 years later. In 2050, number one, who's to say the remodel is still going to look good? You get what I'm saying? Who's saying the remodel you do 26 years from now will still be in style? You'll still like it. Let's not even go down that rabbit hole. Let's focus on the financials. They're spending $85,000 down today, which is 20% of $425,000 purchase price. So they're outlaying $85,000 out of their pocket now. Let's ignore the remodel. I don't even want to go down that road. The mortgage payment, assuming a 7% interest rate, is roughly over $2,200 a month, not including property tax and insurance, HOA, any of that stuff. Let's round up and say it's $2,500. That's $30,000 a year. Let's assume a 7% rate of return was done. By doing that analysis, they've wasted over 30 years, because remember, that's how long the mortgage is. They would be wasting and giving up an opportunity spend cost $5.2 million damn dollars. I explained this to them. They literally shut down and got very cold and frustrated because I'm probably one of the few people that challenged their idiotic premise of them being fantastic planners and great executors and well-spoken, and everybody always says, hey, jump. They'll say, how high, right? Nobody pushes on them. And I'm over here saying, if you're watching this, by the way, on YouTube, I recommend that you do so you can see the disgust in my face. I'm looking at them with the face scrunched. What are you doing? This is the dumbest financial plan. Now, I get if it's maybe the parents' old home, the home they grew up in. No, nothing like that. The stupidity of this, they're giving up $5.2 million from $85,000 down, missing out on the compound growth, spending $30,000 a year at a 7% rate of return over 30 years. Complete stupidity. What the hell is wrong with people today? And then I'm telling them nicely, right? I don't come off this aggressive. If anything, this is my therapeutic session where I'm discussing the frustrations that I go over on a weekly basis. I'm over here calmly explaining to them, yeah, does that really make much sense? I don't know if you can afford to do that. By the way, these people don't make $500,000 a year. They don't make $300,000 a year. They don't make $200,000 a year. They're not making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year where they could just waste $30,000. And by the way, even if they did make $250,000 a year, they're probably only walking away with $150,000 a year, which means $30,000 of that $150,000 is like 20% of their total spend is on this property. They're not even going to go visit. Yes, they have family now, but they're not even going to go visit there once a year or for a month or anything like that, like what some people may do in the mountain homes they may have, the beach houses they may have, the desert homes they may have. It's not even that. So the craziness of this whole thing of just some people being so arrogant on their decision. This is my decision, and I'm here for you to validate it because my spouse, my family, and other people think I'm crazy. Well, you know what, ma'am, sir, you are crazy. And I validated that. And they fight with it over and over again. Sometimes you just need to hear you're wrong. And the plan that you want is stupid. If you can afford, right? They call it stupid rich. If you could afford to do something stupid, go ahead. Who am I to judge? That's not my job. My job is to help people with their finances and, quite frankly, grow their wealth and their net worth as much as possible. Now, there's a balance, right? I mean, if that's the case, everybody would just live in a one-bedroom studio in the ghettoest of areas in your neighborhood. But there's balance. We want maybe a 3-bed, 4-bed, 5-bedroom house. Maybe we want a pool. Maybe we want an office. You get what I'm saying? There's balance. Not everything can be about just building your money to the max amount possible, because then you'll have no happiness. So I understand that completely. All I'm trying to say is when you can't afford it and you still don't want to listen, that's why I use the word moron. Ugh. By the way, folks, you're just joining me. You're listening to Gabriel Shahin, certified financial planner, and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth here on every weekend. And we're talking about all important topics of personal finance. And today I'm just sharing with you some of the craziness that I've been hearing lately. And people just sometimes get so stubborn on their way of thinking that they don't want to just mold or move or just reassess a situation that is so blatantly stupid. I'll give you another example. This person, actually, it's funny, could actually relate to somebody very close to me. They did something very similar to this, but we're going to focus not on my close loved one, but about the client. Because then if I'm calling them morons and stuff, I still got to see them at Thanksgiving dinner. You know what I mean? So another one is this person wanted to buy their child, get this, a VW bug, one of those old Beetles, whatever you used to call them, the slug bugs. Okay. I remember back in the day, I used to drive with my brothers, and we used to see one driving down the road. You punch them and yell out the color. Slug bug, boom. Slug bug red, boom. Of course, I was like 7, 8 years older than them, so it was just a great excuse to punch them. But jokes aside, this is something that just blew my mind. They spent $5,000. And by the way, it doesn't run. I don't think it runs. They just said they're going to leave it in their garage. They have a 2-door, maybe a 3-door garage, 3-car garage. And so they were saying they're going to spend $5,000 today and have an inoperable vehicle. And they're going to sit on it for 16 years until the child is 18 years old. Because, oh, by the way, the child is 2. So check this out. They're spending $5,000 and they're going to be spending about $100 a year just in inoperable insurance or registration, because you do have to tell the state that you're in, hey, I do have this car. It does exist. It's under me, so on and so forth. So, and maybe there's insurance. I don't know, but it costs about $100 a year. Check this out. Over 16 years, okay, at a 10% rate of return with $100 added every year, starting out with $5,000, that will grow to $30,000. And again, it's just crazy to think sometimes that some of these people, of the decisions they're making, and we're not even talking about the problems that can happen from a house or a car when you don't go in there or touch it for years. Folks, when we come back, I'm going to discuss with you some of the items that could happen with a car that you may not drive, with a house that you may not go into, depending on the location of it. Because situations like this just deserve to be explained and hear their rationale, because sometimes people just being stubborn and they don't even have the garage space for it. It's just sitting there with probably a tarp over it, blows my mind. These people are extremely smart, extremely intelligent, and sometimes they need somebody to slap them around a little bit because there is no reason or logic. Now, I understand the $5,000, maybe this person could easily afford it and it's no big deal. But who's to say your 2-year-old child is going to want the VW slug bug? You get what I'm saying? Folks, we're going to go on a quick break. We'll be right back after a few words. This is Gabriel Shahin, certified financial planner and president of Falcon Wealth Planning. We wanted to offer you a free financial assessment for listening to the show so you can help relate it to your specific situation. We offer multiple services such as retirement planning, where you are today, how retirement looks like, talking about Social Security, real estate, planning, even if you own a business, talking about taxes, not just how to save money today, but also throughout retirement. Talk about investments, making sure you're avoiding those high fees, costs, commissions, and also estate planning and insurance, just making sure you're properly protected if, God forbid, something were to happen. And we're offering 1 to 2 meetings, 1 to 2 hours of our time at no cost. Give us a call. We would love to help. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, and fill out the form fill right there on our site. We would love to help you in your financial situation. We look forward to serving you. Welcome back, folks. This is Gabriel Shahin, certified financial planner and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth, here on every weekend, talking about all important topics of personal finance. And today we are talking about just certain people making decisions today based on something that may or may not happen in 20, 30 years from now. Now, I hear what you're probably thinking. Why is that a bad thing? Isn't that what you do, Gabriel? You and your team of dozens of advisors? Well, yeah, we do. The difference with us is based on your situation, our goal is to increase your financial situation to make you more comfortable, make life more easier, and just achieve the goals that you want to achieve. In a situation like this, there are situations where there are irrational goals. And I went over the first segment, somebody wanting to buy a retirement house that they're 2,000 miles away, that they're not going to go to, that they're not going to rent out, that they're going to remodel today for something that they're going to retire in potentially 25 years from now. Makes no sense. The second option, which I was kind of in the middle of going, we just had to take a quick break, was going over a car. Somebody wanted to buy a VW Bug, slug bug, for their 2-year-old. And 16 years from now, when they're 18, they want to give the child the car. Maybe they have this dream that they're going to build the car together. I don't know. We didn't go into that much detail about it. I'm just trying to justify it, if you will. But what if the child doesn't want a VW Bug? How about this? It's taking up space in your garage that you may not have room for. It may have cost you $5,000 for this VW Bug and $100 of maybe annual charges just from the DMV, the inoperable vehicle, along with potential insurance, whatever the case is. At a 10% rate of return, that $5,000 grows to $30,000. What could you buy for $30,000 then? And this assumes the car stays at the same value, which I don't know. Maybe it appreciates, maybe it doesn't. But this car, you do know when a car isn't driven, yet again, I don't know if the car was drivable or not, but if it just sits in the garage for 16 years, which they said they're not going to drive it, probably just with a tarp over it, you have a dead battery, you got rusted brakes, you got dried up cables, and other items that just makes no sense that you would put your situation, your family in that situation. You can have leakage with seals, you can have insect or rodent infestation, just so many problems that could happen. And who's to say the child who walks around that car every single day is going to want it? You may have a dream, but sometimes some people have to share their dreams. And to try to plant the seed of a dream for something as tangible as that may not work. You can have a dream of, hey, I want you to go to college. I want you to get married here or get married to this type of individual. But it may not work out so fruitfully when you try to say, I want you will live here until this age. You will live next to me. We will build you a proper next to me. We will buy you a house next to me. You will take over my company business. I mean, there has to be more logic with that. Forget the financial piece of it, because in the first example, where it could cost you $5.2 million, all in today's dollars, might I add, and you're losing that to have a paid off house of $425,000, you're losing it. That simple logic right there is a no-brainer. But people probably can't afford $5,000, especially if they do very well. Remember how we started this conversation. These are typically the most successful people, leaders in companies, smart, intelligent professionals, highly respected, typically have people wanting their opinion, relying on them, and so on. And so they could probably most likely afford $5,000 a day and the storage costs and so on. But is it the smartest thing to do? Just because you can afford it doesn't mean you should. Just because your car can go 160 miles an hour, a Honda Accord, doesn't mean it should. You'll probably have transmission problems shortly after. So my comment to you is, are you running your situation by an unbiased third party? Because if your spouse tells you something, they're my spouse, right? Just like how your spouse doesn't listen to you when you say something. They hear it from somebody else. They're like, oh, okay, I'll do it. And you just throw your hands in the air saying, I've been saying that for how long? And you needed Joe Schmo or Jane Doe to say that to you? Give me a break. It's the same concept with you. Maybe you just need to hear from somebody else what the opportunity costs and what you're missing out on. And think about the psychology of today's generation, right? Involving them, having ownership in something like that. I'm just thinking from a car point of view, that is a foolish decision. If you had a 20-car garage, who cares? A 2-car, 3-car garage, yeah, that's a problem. That's annoying. That, quite frankly, makes no sense. I just see people doing this all far too often, and I heavily advise against it. Make a decision that makes sense for you, your family, the bandwidth of the resources that you currently have, and reassigning money in a proper spot. I'll take it a step further. These type of people I typically see, when the kids get gifts, they open up an account for the kids. Now, I have a few comments on that. Number one, I see those same people with high credit card debts. Okay, well, please use the kids' money for that. You paid for the kids' birthday party, right? You paid for it. Cost you maybe $500, maybe $1,500 to do it. Whatever. Chuck E. Cheese isn't cheap anymore. So you spend that money. Now there's maybe cash gifts. What are you doing? Are you trying to tell me that you are just putting it into a savings account, holding it in your wallet? I would heavily recommend to invest it. And quite frankly, I wouldn't even invest it in their name. Invest it in your name, right? If you were to do that, you have more control. You might be paying for college, maybe their first car, versus putting in their name in an UTMA or an UGMA account, which is a Uniform Trust to Minor account or Uniform Gift to Minors account. You have more control, because if you're going to give all that money to an 18-year-old, you know what the next question is? Is what color is the Porsche, the Corvette? You know, I'm just trying to tell you, just make decisions based on research. And something like this, you should probably talk to professionals who do this on a daily basis. This is why we're offering a free financial assessment, where you can run ideas like this based on your situation, based on how much you have in savings, how much you have in investments, how much you spend, how much you save. Based on the amount of kids you have, you do it for one kid, are you doing it for another kid? Are you setting proper expectations? Helping you with decisions that other people have made, and we're in a situation like yours, where they're able to help people that are in a successful financial situation. They can help answer those questions that you maybe don't have, but at least give you an advice and a different point of view. Listen, you're probably successful for a reason, because you're driven and you put your mind to something and you achieve it. But sometimes you're wrong. And in today's society, something happened. Maybe it was during COVID, but people get sensitive to that. But from a professional point of view, I heavily recommend that you do look at your situation and get a second opinion, which is why we're offering a free financial assessment, 1 to 2 meetings, 1 to 2 hours of our time, folks, at no cost. Give us a call. We would love to help. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird, or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short. Put in an inquiry right there on our website. We can reach out to you and just guide you in these unique scenarios. Because I've seen people do some unique things. I've seen people do a business venture, put the names of the business in an irrevocable trust into the kid's name. That business flourished. That business maybe is worth tens of millions of dollars. I had a situation where it was worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, the kids get a $100 million payout each. What do you think a 25-year-old does with $100 million? Well, probably safe to assume they spend it on things they shouldn't be spending on. They have addictions that they sadly are troubling. These are things that I see far too often, folks. And this is what I'm trying to help you to avoid. By the way, folks, you're just joining me. You're listening to Gabriel Shahin, certified financial planner, and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth, here on every weekend, talk about all important topics of personal finance. This is why it's important to have a financial partner. Every time you have a question, a situation, a scenario that comes up, an itch in your head where you're thinking it may be questionable, and I have a saying, if I have doubt, it's either absolutely not or absolutely yes. If there is a question about it, right? Should I buy this property? It better be 100% yes, or it's a no. Should I sell this? Keep it. Don't sell it. It should be that clear. This is the type of things that somebody like yourself, a successful, professional, decisive leader, needs to understand. Now, if you need somebody to help lay out the pros and cons of each scenario, that's where you could see value. That's where you could see benefits. This is, yet again, why we like to be that financial partner. But there are so many different aspects in life, whether it's downsizing your home, upselling your home, getting into a bigger house. Maybe you can't quite afford it today. Well, which stage are you in your career? Are you going to be retiring soon? Or are you going to be excelling? You just started your career. It's only going to get better. Are you looking to move states? Are you moving states because one state might be crazy and you don't want your family to be raised in an environment like that? Where is your community, your culture, your family? What's the weather like? What's your health like? There's so many variables that come into account. I'll take it a step further. There's somebody who wanted to upgrade their house. They have a $2 million house. They only owe like $700,000 on it. Seems a lot for a lot of you, and it is a lot for most of us. Their mortgage payments are $5,000 a month. They want to upgrade their house to a $4 to $5 million house. Their payments are going to be $35,000 a month, $30,000 more a month. Holy smokes, they can afford it. But they just said to themselves, "Do I need that much house? Heck, I could buy my neighbor's house for $1 to $2 million. Heck, how about $30,000 a month in vacation?" Could you increase your lifestyle in lieu of that house? Upgrade. Just because you can afford something doesn't mean you should buy it. This what separates successful people from absolute leaders. Leaders are at the forefront of decision making. This is what we try to help you achieve. It's not just in your money, making the right decisions, but it's in your life. Personal finance is more personal than finance. Folks, that was a fast show. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. That was fun as I wrote the notes prior to this to go over the show. You could always reach out to myself or any one of my colleagues here at Falcon Wealth Planning. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, where you can go into our knowledge center, redirects you to YouTube. We got over 1 million views. I highly recommend to subscribe, like our channel. You can see all the new videos that come out. We're getting some fantastic content there. And if you want this episode or any one of our previous episodes, Spotify and podcasts, so many great episodes that we've had historically. We're really working on those thumbnails and kind of the details on there, so it's easy for you to choose what show that you want to go over. Folks, I want to thank you for tuning in. I want you to have a fantastic weekend. Have a great week, and God bless.